In 1867, around 2,000 Chinese workers working on the Transcontinental Railroad in California went on strike after a tunnel explosion killed 5 Chinese workers. In addition to safety concerns, the Chinese were also protesting the fact that they were being paid only about half the wages of their white counterparts. But the railway contractors refused to give in to the demands. The protests were taking place far from many cities in the Sierra Nevada wilderness, and so the contractors were able to withhold food and supplies to the group until they were eventually forced to give in and return to work after about a week. The contractor in charge of the men later wrote, quote, "If there had been that number of white laborers, it would have been impossible to control them." He described the strike by saying, quote, "This strike of the Chinese was just like Sunday all along the work. These men stayed in their camps, that is, they would come out and walk around, but not a word was said. No violence was perpetrated along the whole line." Another executive for the railway by the name of Mark Hopkins advocated for bringing in black freedmen for the remainder of the project to prevent any further strikes, saying, quote, "A Negro labor force would tend to keep the Chinese steady, as the Chinese have kept the Irishmen quiet." But rather than follow this advice, instead the railroad sent a well-armed and presumably well-paid group of white men to secure the camps going forward. History is awkward.